right along in our Boimler and Mariner cosplay series.
Surprise!
So the next thing to do on our list to complete these cosplays is to cut Boimler's hair. So this wig is from Wig is Fashion. I'll put it somewhere up in here on the screen, and I'll also list it down below in the description box. So if you want to get this wig, because I believe this is a really great color, it's a really great base cut already in it. It's just a little long. We are going to trim this up just a little bit on top and on the sides. I am debating on whether I want to do Boimler's hairstyle from the Strange New Worlds episode, where it was kind of like fluffed, folded over, parted over to the side, or do I want to do his more like cartoonish, like flip up, where it's kind of more like vertical and pointing to the sky. Maybe I'll trim it to like here. I think I'm gonna aim for the more cartoonish vibe, and if I hate it, it's a lot easier to just go bloop. So we're gonna start on the sides, trim this up. I think we wanna take all of this off because that is so long. I haven't done a men's cut in a while, so I am going to be pulling on all my beauty school knowledge, just things that I have learned over the years, because I mostly do wigs and I mostly do female presenting wigs. Yeah, it's been a minute. Wish me luck.
Hold on to your butts.
Let's get to cutting. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is section the top of the wig off from the rest of it, going all the way back to the crown. Then we're gonna wet this. It's gonna be a lot easier to cut this while wet, so we're gonna really see our guides and things like that. Now, child, I was doing my best. I haven't cut a sideburn in a minute. I was nervous! Nervous, I tell you! But honestly, I'm pretty happy they don't look crazy. So I just kind of, did what I felt was right. Usually how I make it through most situations. But yes, I'm just like kind of scissor over combing. I cut most of the length off by brushing it away from itself. And I'm just going to keep trimming until it gets nice and low. Alright, so now we're starting our haircut. So I'm just following a guide all the way down to the nape of the hair, and then I'm gonna just use that all the way up the head, going on a slight angle. I was so nervous. Oh my god, y'all. Cutting men's hair is honestly a lot more difficult than cutting a woman's haircut, because the hair is so much shorter. There's so many ways it can go wrong so fast, and it has to be damn near precise, if not perfect. Now, I've made my way up to the top of the wig. Now, I'm doing a little bit of cross-checking. So for this top of section of the wig, you want to make sure, and this goes for the whole haircut, that you're angling your fingers so that things are going from shorter to long. It should get longer in the back of the wig, meeting in the middle, and those two sides should meet and be the same length. So just be mindful of that you're angling your fingers on a diagonal, so things are going to be longer. Now here I am doing some cross-checking, pulling things out horizontally, and let me tell you this, doing cross-checking and scissor over comb on a wig with a mesh and netting and all of that understructure is annoying as hell, because you can never quite really use that comb as you can on a real person's head. It doesn't glide across their scalp because there is no scalp. There is just a wig structure. So it gets caught. So as you're trying to do that method, just make sure that you're not going too deep and snagging on the wig, because it just is annoying. Pull sections out a couple of wefts at a time and cross-check them that way, and use the comb and your fingers to really see what's really going on with each layer of the wig, because cross-checking can be a little difficult. So That's an alternative. Okay. It was time to take out the blending shears because, baby, I was like, ooh, she's looking a little choppy. I had to remind myself that when wigs are cut this short and they're straight, they're gonna look naturally pokey and weird. And sometimes you have to be careful because you can overblend something and make it too short and make it worse. So you want to make sure that you have enough coverage, that your wefts are covered. You want to make sure that everything is truly even and you're not just seeing something that's not really there because the hair can be very like it wants to stick out and it wants to look jagged, but it may not actually be jagged. So make sure you're really double checking before you cut. Now I want to make sure that the hair is balanced on both sides, same length and even. So a way to do that is just to take hair from both sides and pull your hands through them. So I'm wetting this top again so we can start cutting the top. We're basically going to take the back and connect it to the back of the crown. And just connect and cut that corner off, cut that length off. And I'm just taking it where it lives. I'm not over directing it to the middle. I'm just taking it straight out from where it lives. And you don't go into the sides, okay? We're just taking everything that naturally falls back. We split the top of the hair up, and we're taking everything in the back and just connecting it. And we're doing that on an angle too. We're not doing that straight up. Okay. So you're going to keep bringing sections back to the back of the head and cutting until you get to a section where it won't reach. So just keep doing this same process. Taking everything straight back from where it lives, cut on an angle, get that corner off until you can't cut anymore because it won't reach. Okay? All right. All right, so now we're gonna start cutting the front. So I used a razor comb for the front because I wanted it to be softer and blended, but this comb was not doing the tea for me, and it was just kind of slow because I really had to like hack at the hair, it being plastic. So I decided after a certain point to go back to my shears, and I'll figure out the texturizing later. All right. So I'm just bringing everything forward, and I created my own guide with the front. And basically, I'm bringing everything that wouldn't reach to the back to the front and cutting that length. And then I'm gonna go back in and then blend the back to the front, going from short to longest. All right, so here we start the process of blending the crown section to the front section. And we're gonna go on a very steep upward angle, connecting everything. And when I get to the very front, near the hairline, I stretch everything forward to really keep that length. I really need some new shears, baby. But yeah, you basically have to keep doing that across the top of the head to make sure that everything is connected and even using the guide. Oh God, is there any hair left on the wig? Oh my goodness. It was. a purple hair bath, blood bath, child. But she's not bald, so I came back the next day because I need to take a little break. And I am going through and just checking the top of the wig, make sure everything is cut. Because I left kind of in the middle of the top, so I'm just finishing the haircut up. So now we are getting into the styling portion. So I'm adding a little bit of K18 hairspray. This is a wet spray. So I wanted to see if this would add a little bit of grit and texture. And then I'm taking some curl mousse. This is just gonna give me some volume. I mixed two mousses together. I just wanted to see how they work in the Synthetica. And I'm trying to blow everything away from the back of the head to give it some height. A really good trick is like use your hot dryer and then kind of hold the hair in the direction you want it to go, and that'll help train the hair and help it cool in place for where you want it to sit. What's gonna really sell this haircut is bumping the ends in the back of the head and giving it that soft little C curl on the ends. That's gonna help it blend. That's gonna help it appear a lot less jagged. It really helps if you have one of those baby flat irons too. So here I am starting to use my round brush in the crown just because the pieces in the crown are a little bit longer and I wanted to have a little bit more fullness and lift in the crown area because that is going to be the occipital of the head and I didn't want the back of the head to look flat. So this just gives you a little bit more roundness to the crown. But everywhere else I pretty much just used the flat iron. So this is what your Boimler back of the head should look like once you're done doing all that flat ironing. And I continue to use the round brush for as I move up the back of the crown into the top portions of the hairstyle. Right here is where I started to flat iron the top and put a little bit of body into it. Now I'm thinking about the directions I want this hair to go. So the hair is parted on the left and everything is flowing up into those 2 points towards the right. So I'm curling the hair in the direction that I want it to land eventually, right? So I take this little front piece and I'm gonna curl this because I know I want all the sides to go back, and then I'm gonna start directionally curling the top. So you can use a flat iron for this. Now I did that because I know I want like a swoop and a point to hang lower than the two main points, right? So like I said before, if you want a deeper swoop, you want it hanging over your face, feel free. This is by no means the Boimler Bible hairstyle. I am just a cosplayer interpreting what I see and what I want it to be. You can definitely take the techniques from this and change the style completely. You can do a more natural style. It is a cartoon. You can interpret it into real life however you see fit. So I opted to take my big round brush and blow dryer to just finish this off a lot quicker. I didn't need to have like a deep curl and I wanted it to be a little bit of a softer curl, just something to like soften those ends. And I just used this. It was a lot quicker than going through it with the smaller round brush and flat iron. So now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. We all know my favorite thing to do is to tease. So if you've watched any of my tutorials, you know I fall back on teasing. As a drag queen cosplayer, it is the number one thing in my arsenal, okay? So you're just gonna tease this in the direction you want it to go. So I'm teasing away from the part. I'm making that hair stand up on its own. You don't need to crimp anything. If you prefer to crimp, go for it, but you're still gonna end up teasing anyway. So just tease it. You don't need to do all that crimping and shit. Put the crimper down. Just tease this shit up. I promise you it'll be fine. So it's pretty much what you see on the screen. You're gonna tease in the direction you want the hair to go. And once I get onto the other side of the hair, I'm gonna tease inward back into the hairstyle. So everything can kind of defy gravity. I'm taking a slice from the hairline and teasing into the hairline. You see I'm creating that swoop. I actually could have left it there, but I decided to like make it lift a little bit more. Alright, so now we are in the finishing realm. I've got my 5 prong out. We're smoothing things, we're directing things, we're figuring out where we want things to finally like land and live. So that's where we are now. We're almost done with the hairstyle. So I'm gonna just let you guys watch the rest of the video and I'll check in with you at the very end. Alright, so we have finally come to the end of styling Boimler. So what do we think? Are we feeling it? How do we feel? I'm absolutely in love. I was a little worried when I was styling it at the end. I was like, is this gonna come together? I don't know. Like, do I have to like crimp the roots? But honestly, I didn't have to do that. I just gave it a nice directional tease, as you saw in the video. I teased everything going this way, and back home. When I got to this side, I started back homing this way so that this could stand up and all of that, and lots of this, and that was pretty much it. The styling portion is the easiest part. The haircut is going to be the most time consuming and tedious. This I am really happy with. I think it's a nice interpretation of the animated version of what his hair is supposed to be, but now in real life. And I'm really freaking happy with it. Now this is always up to interpretation. If you want to go the more, let's say, Strange New Worlds route with how you style it, you are totally free to do that. If you think that is more your style, more your speed, I say definitely go that route. I think this is a nice balance because my Mariner wig, I definitely dated pretty one-to-one on how she had it in Strange New Worlds, whereas this is definitely not that take. This is definitely a little more cartoony, but I think because it'll work when we're both on screen, because one, my wig is so huge, and if I was to do his hair in a more demure, played down kind of normal style, I think it would visually look kind of like unbalanced. But since this does take some focus, they will look great together on screen. So I'm very happy with it. Alright, so the next video in our series is going to be finishing that bat lip. So look out for that. Subscribe, comment, share. Tell me what you think of this wig. Tell me if you're gonna like use this tutorial. If you guys use any of my tutorials, please tag me. I would love to see them. And how freaking cool is this? It's Boimler, y'all. It is Boimler. Now what you could do if you really wanted to add some texture is go back through and like maybe flip up these little pieces, like these little pieces right here if you wanted to do that, and just add even more texture and movement into the wig even when it's not moving. But I opted for these two triangular points, and I think that's the best route. But yes, again, if you have any questions about how to achieve this style that you feel are not really like answered in the video, put it in the comments. I am always checking the comments, so I am happy to answer any questions you guys have. Alright, so that is all for me today. I will see you in the next video, which will be the backlist video. This has been Anna Rose. I will see you in the next video, which is going to be for the backlist. We're going to be tackling that and finishing that up. And then once everything is said and done, then I'm going to start rolling out some little TikToks, some little reels, you know, all the content, photos, all of that. I really want to have Mariner and Boimler be like the next era in my Star Trek cosplay journey, as I have put a lot of effort into these two particular characters. They're some of my favorite modern characters in Star Trek, so I wanted to really play them up as they have so many cool cosplay components to them. So that's why I'm giving them all of this effort and energy. So like this video, share it, make my effort worth it, please. This has been Anna Rose, over and out.